We live, we live, we live. Shalom, family. Let me see.
I can go to the yellow YAHAWAH'S camp.
Hey, yo, shalom, shalom, shalom. We're going to let them attendance build up. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Share the video. We're going to go into some good information through the spirit. Hey, shalom to the mighty officer Shalat. Yeah, let me send you the link. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put the link into the, give me 1 second. All right. Shalom, shalom. Let's get these numbers up. Get these numbers up. Hey, we in for a good lesson tonight, man. Let me know if I could be heard. We in for a good lesson. Shalom to the brothers. Yash, let me know if you can get in. Shalom, Cap. Let me know if you can get in here. We go through this lesson. Let me see. We give it another 5 minutes. Let me go on mute. All right, hey, again, as you come into the room, Baba Kashah, please share the room. Please share the room. Trying to get this information out. As always, man, hey, you know, we doing this thing through the spirit of YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWASHI. Khan, all praises. Hey, the water officer, Shalat. Brother said I could be heard. Khan. Yeah, we're not gonna be too long on tonight. Wednesday, Warzone Wednesday. So, ooh. All right, shalom. We about to get into it. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh. Bahashem Mashiach YAHAWASHI. All right, it's the Captain Ram of Yahweh's camp coming at you on another Warzone Wednesday classroom. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. At the water for brothers and sisters hopping in this class. It's going to be a really thorough, really thorough and in-depth class on the wheat and the tares. You know, as you let the Christian pastors, bishops, ministers tell this, they teach this as a spiritual wheat and a spiritual tare. But of course, through the spirit of YAHAWAH'S, this is actually a nationality understanding. It's a DNA understanding. However you want to put it, its understanding is only through and for the children of Israel. All right, so as always, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahawashi. Thank y'all for tuning in. Mighty Shalom to the elders, captains, officers, soldiers of Yahweh's camp. Shalom to the sisters of Yahweh's camp. Shalom to the brothers that teach this truth and sincerity, bring this word out and truth and sincerity. Shalom to y'all as well, to the four corners scattered abroad. And of course, shalom to the brothers that's coming in this truth, enduring in his word, laboring. As always, shalom to y'all brothers and sisters as well. All right, so without much further ado, you see the title, all right, The Wheat and the Tares, a parable by Yahawashi. All right, so as we get into the understanding of the wheat and the tares, I want people to, again, understand when you go into the actual book of the Bible and read it with the lens of the Israelite perspective, the actual book becomes more clear. It becomes more clean, as I could say, right? The book of Daniel becomes more clean. The revelation, the reading of Revelation becomes more clean and clear when you have the understanding that this is for the Israelite. Soon as you start adding in a multi-ethnic church, or you start adding in the understanding or the idea of all nations or all people being called Israel, that's when it becomes a little bit weird and scary or spooky, as we like to say, which is why your church never goes into the books of Daniel, the book of, Ezra, right? Ezra, first Ezra, second Ezra. It's hard to break it down without having a nationality based under it. All right, so before we get into it, I also want to get a couple announcements. Again, Yahweh's Camp just celebrated Purim. We just closed out Purim. It was a really good feast day that we all came together and came into the understanding of what Purim actually goes into. Also, we got the Passover, the Lord's Passover coming up. I want to say April 13th at sundown. That's a Sunday evening, Raleigh, North Carolina. April 13th, please be there. RSVP. Reach out to the elders or reach out to the Yahweh's Camp YouTube page so that we can get you a time slot or get you a slot and a seat. As always, have one of the best Passovers that I've been involved in all of Israel. So yeah, just keep your eye out on that. Again, keep your eye out on us going out to DC as the spring comes closer. And we're gonna go out to DC, Washington DC, and again break ground with Yahweh's Camp, DC, Maryland area. And shout out to them brothers as well out there doing the work in Maryland, DC, Virginia area. Brothers Mayakala, Joshua, Kazakia, and Joseph. Good brothers out there doing the work, doing the Lord's work. Shalom to y'all brothers as well. All right, so again, the wheat and the tares, right? This is a parable, and I want to go into it. But before we go into the wheat and the tare, I want people to understand the difference between a wheat and a tare. There's a big difference between a wheat and a tare. I want to start off by giving the benefits of wheat, right? So wheat has benefits. And when you understand the benefits that the Israelite man gives, or the Israelite gives to his people, it is a actual benefit. It's a supplement that helps nourish our people. All right. So when you go into the wheat, understand this: the wheat it's rich in nutrients, fiber, protein, vitamin B, iron. All right. Wheat is is rich in iron, magnesium, antioxidants, supports digestion, constipation, prohibition controls your blood sugar, your heart health, and weight management. Hold on one second. Salakia. All right. So again, these are supports or things that the wheat provides for the people, right? Again, so you got rich in nutrients, fiber, protein, vitamin B, iron, magnesium. All these things are health benefits for the body. And when you go into this parable, again, it's a parable of Yahawashi. One of the main things about a parable is to draw a comparison. It's able to give it's designed for our people to receive the information and to ingest it or make it palatable for the people. You can't explain rocket scientists to someone like myself without making it simplified, to simplify it. So these parables are made to simplify. And this week in the TARE parable is made to simplify for the disciples. And as people in this world, 2025, we also have to have that same understanding on the doctrine of the wheat and the tares. All right. So again, we got constipation, right? It's supposed to help with constipation. The fiber helps with constipation. One thing about this understanding or this doctrine is that it has to be palatable to the people. So when you're going out there to teach, as someone who provides wheat or as a recipient of the wheat or the doctrine that we give, you can't get on out. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get the cap in. Hold on one second, y'all. Let me try it again. Cap, try to go into the Yahawah's camp group text and see if you can get on through there. All right. So again, these are the benefits that wheat provides. And again, what I'm trying to get our people to understand is that when you teach this word, you're teaching this word to allow our people to ingest the doctrine and to make it palatable for them. All right. It's not so much designed for you to be super technical, right? When it comes to breaking this word down, sometimes to simplify it is the best way. Salakia. So the same thing with wheat. They provide a whole bunch of ways to clearly understand this. All right. Weight management, energy, inflammation reduction. All these things are what the wheat provides. I want to get a quick precept real quick on the job of wheat. And as we are wheat, we are looked at as wheat or to be distributors of the word, right? We also have to have that simplified way of bringing this word out. This is Matthew 5:13. It says this: ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? So we are the salt of the earth. When we teach this word, we have to approach our conversations with salt, right? It says, it is therefore good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden underfoot of men. Then he says in verse 14, ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. So I want people to understand what Yahawashi is trying to teach us. He's teaching us to make this doctrine, to make this good news palatable or ingestible for the people to receive it. It's not meant to be taken harshly. It's not meant to be drunk like liquor. It's like a fine wine, right? It's made to be tasted and sipped and enjoyable. And I believe sometimes, just me, when we teach this word, it becomes unpalatable. It becomes refused because our people only have one way to give this understanding. And we have to learn how to give this understanding with more patience, more joy, more love, and compassion. All right. And that's the light that we have that's set on a hill. But if you hide that light under a bushel, it'll never be received. And the same thing or the same understanding that wheat has, or the smooth transition that wheat provides, we as Israel, especially you teachers, we have to be able to provide the same smooth transition when we give this word out. The nutrients is the word. The wheat gives the nutrients to the person that's eating or ingesting the word. If your word or if your good news is bitter or it tastes nasty, it'll never be received with love. All right. Verse 16, I'm going to finish this up. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. All right. So we got to understand that when we go into this wheat and tare understanding, if you are an Israelite, you are the wheat. If you are an Israelite, you're a natural wheat, naturally. But even the wheat can be poisoned. Even the wheat can lose its strength. Even the wheat can lose its nutrients. All right, we're going to get into that. I also want to get this Colossians chapter 4, verse 6. All right, let's go into the words of Paul. This is Colossians, the 4th chapter and the 6th verse. He says, let your speech be always seasoned with grace. Let me read it again. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt. So our speech must be with grace and seasoned with salt. All right. Salt makes everything easily eaten, easily to digest, easy to taste. It's good to the tongue, right? That ye may know what ye ought to answer every man. So our speech, our doctrine, our delivery must continue to be seasoned with salt, with grace, with love, compassion. That's the idea of the wheat. All right. Now let's go on to the tare. Now, a couple of interesting things about a tare. So there's no plant really called tare. YAHAWASHI calls this the tare because it's set apart from the wheat. All right. Shalom, Shapar the Gadite. Cap, Yashawan, I'm trying to figure out how could we get you in here. That's weird. We'll figure it out. All right, and y'all stay working with us, stay patient with us, Israel. We're still working on the back end on how to get our Warzone Wednesdays to be how you like it. But just bear with us. All right, we're gonna work around this thing, but through the spirit of YAHAWASHI, this word got to come out. All right. So again, we went through the benefits or the supplements that wheat has to offer. Again, rich in nutrients, good in protein, good in fiber, iron, magnesiums. All these things help us what? What do these things help us to do? What is the nutrients, fiber, protein, B vitamin, magnesium, iron? They help us what? They help us to live. All right? They help us live. The nutrients that the wheat offers help us live. On the contrary, the tare. Let's talk about the tare. All right? A couple things about the tare. It's called Darnel Ilonium temulinum. Temulentum. I had to write that down and say it a couple times before we went live. All right? It's called Darnel Ilolium temulentum, also known as poison darnel. That's what a tare is. It's like a weed. It's designed. If you know anything about weeds are designed to actually choke and kill the plant. So when YAHAWASHI was doing this parable of the tare and the wheat, and the wheat and the tare, the one is made to help you live. The tare is designed to kill you. Okay? And we're going to go into that. Darnel Ilolium temulentum, also known as poison darnel. Like we grew up around a brother named Darnell, right? Like it's like that, Darnell, right? Like the name Darnell. All right, now check this out. It grows in the same production zone as the wheat. So it grows up amongst the wheat. Looks like the wheat, smells like the wheat, has the same texture as the wheat. Everything looks the same across the board, okay? Actually is a weed, all right? Then I have Vavilovian, right? Which is a mimic of wheat. Remember that. The tare or the Darnell tantalum is supposed or designed to mimic wheat. It mimics wheat. Now it says, now they use modern technology, right? So modern technology is used nowadays to distinguish Darnell from wheat. So the wheat in the tares in 2025 is distinguished only by modern day technology. Back in the day, they didn't have that technology. Back in the day, they had eyes. Back in the day, they had something called time. So time allows us to understand if that plant was a wheat or a tare, a weed or a wheat. Only time can tell. And the time that told, the manifestation was what? The manifestation was the fruit or the seed that it produced. Pay attention to what I'm saying, because as we go into this actual parable, it's going to make sense. This has nothing to do with religion or faith. It's all about culture. It's all about your nationality and ethnicity. It has nothing to do with culture it has nothing to do with religion and evil people, right? It's more so about ethnicity. Darnell also called false wheat. So it's also called false wheat. Now check this out. In the French word for Darnell is avray. I believe I'm pronouncing it right, but it's avray. All right. Now the equivalent of avray in French is intoxicated. Ebriacus, meaning the expressing of drunken nausea from eating infecting plants, which can be fatal. I want everybody to think about this, what I'm just saying, right? When you eat or ingest the tare, in some instances, it can be fatal. It's designed to have you intoxicated, right? Or drunken or nauseous. And in some instances, can be fatal. Now, I want to bring out a couple precepts before we get into this. Revelation chapter 18, verse 3 says this. It's talking about Babylon. Now, the Babylon we're seeing here is Esau, the Roman, the Edomite, the Idumean. Okay, now listen to this. Revelation 18:2. It says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils. The habitation of devils. Okay, talking about Babylon. Devil means to be a deceiver. So the devil is the deceiver. Anybody can be a devil, okay? If you're in the business of deception, you're a devil, right? And the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Verse 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Let me read that again. Remember, the tare, the byproduct, or the only nutrient that the tare provides, doesn't provide anything that the wheat offers. Everything that the tare offers is nothingness or drunkenness or nauseous or even death. So it says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. What we're reading right here in Revelation 18:3 is the the substance that Babylon or Esau offers. And it goes into all this. One of them is fornication, being rich off the delicacies of the evil, of the devil. And that's your Darnell Avray. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Don't get me winging it. Now, again, Jeremiah 51 says this. Jeremiah 51 verse 7 says this. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Now remember, we just established that the TARE, the only provision that it provides is what? Being drunk, being nauseous. Let me get one more. Revelation 17:1. Revelation 17:1. Now, one thing about Esau is that Esau, or the Idumean, only gives you death. Their doctrine, your Christianity, your doctrine, Christianity, is designed to destroy you. This is why they use Paul's letters to make a doctrine that you don't have to keep the law anymore. That the law is no longer a part of your life. And that's the doctrine of a devil. This is Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now your great whore is the kingdom of Esau. America, Britain, any kingdom that Esau is over is that great whore. America is the chief. Babylon is the chief kingdom of Esau. Verse 2 says this, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants, Salakim, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So again, being drunk with the spirit, the doctrine, the habits, the mindset of Esau is what we're talking about. Remember, the wheat provides things to keep you alive. The TARE, the fruit of the TARE provides things that will kill you. Literally. Now, let's get to Matthew 13:24. Let's actually go into the parable with the mindset now that we have going into it, what a wheat provides and what a TARE provides. Matthew 13:24 says this. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man that would sow good seed in his field. Okay? The key word I want us to look up is the word seed. Now, when you go into your concordance, seed means sperma or sperm, where you get the word sperm from. All right? So now I want to go into this precept in Ecclesiasticus 26. But again, I want to make sure I reiterate, seed equals sperma, okay? Seed. A man lays with a woman, they have a child, a seed must be fertilized so a man and woman come together, all right? They produce a child. That child is the fruit of a seed and the fertilizer coming together, being one, right? And then, of course, over 10 months, you get the baby. Now, on a macro level, on a larger scale, you have a nation that's being provided by the seed. Now, the book of Sirach 26, I want to get this in verse 19, is going to substantiate that. And it reads this, my son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. The strangers would be the other nations. So don't give your strength to strangers. Well, what is the strength that we did not give to strangers? Verse 20, when thou hast gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thy own seed. trusting in the goodness of thy stock. Okay? The stock represents your own stock, your genetics, your DNA, your bloodline, your ethnicity. Trust, and we got to start going into trusting in our own stock as Black, Latino, and Native American men. To be able to say, my child would be that much better if I lay with someone of my own kindred. Trust in the nation of Israel. A lot of times we get money, we get fame, we get rich, and we go into the other nations thinking that my child will have good hair, lighter complexion, they'll be accepted, they'll be better if I integrate with the other nations. We have to trust in our Black being beautiful as well. The Black man must trust the Black woman that nappy hair is still going to be beautiful. That Latino man can go with his own brothers and sisters and say, I'm still beautiful. I don't have to integrate with another nation and trust in them. Does that make sense? Right? Trusting in the goodness of thy stock. Then it says in verse 21, so thy race, which thou leavest, shall be magnified. So when you have those children and they have the same stock as their forefathers and their foremothers, okay, that's the magnification. You ever see somebody has that nice chocolate skin tone, that nice dark brown, right? That's a magnification, all right? Having the confidence of their good descent. So again, the seed represents the children, the child, okay? The lineage, the future, however you want to dice it up, the sperma, your generations, and it should be sowed in a righteous field, a field of Israel. But we're not doing that anymore. All right, so that was Sirach 26, 19 through 21. So now let's read 24 again in Matthew 13, 24. It says, another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. Good seed. The brother said Tobit 4 and 12. Let's bring it out. Amen. Let's get that in the book of Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12, and it reads. It says, beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly means mainly. Mainly, take a wife of the seed of thy fathers. Hold on, I'm getting a sneeze. Woo, hold on. It's piling. Let me say it again. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy fathers, and take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe, for we are the children of the prophets. Another way of saying the children of the prophets, we are the sons or the seed of the prophets, right? For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred and were blessed in their children. And that's the magnification in Sirach 26. The children are blessed when mommy and daddy come from the children of Israel. And their seed shall inherit the land, right? Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren. And that's love for your brethren is when you marry the children of Israel, right? Whether you're a woman marrying a man of Israel or a man marrying a woman of Israel. That's love for the brethren. And despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, in not taking a wife of them, for in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine. And lewdness, when you deal with the other nations, the famine would be the judgment that comes upon thee, right? The brothers got Proverbs 5 and 15. That's another good one. Drink waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. And that's beautiful, right? The mighty Gadite brought that out, right? And I be wanting to ask ourselves, what would our people be like if we didn't make these treaties with the other nations? How, especially the Gadite brothers, right, and sisters. You watch that Killer of the Flower Moon, it goes into that heavily, right, where the brothers and sisters was marrying the children of Esau. And we're going to go right into this because Killers of the Flower Moon is a result of the wheat and the tares intermingling together. The children, we don't know what they are. To Brianna Dukes, Salakia, yes, we were actually at another location this last Saturday. Brianna Duke says, Shalom, my little brother came looking for you for your camp on Shabbat at the park. We will be there, most high willing, this Saturday. Last Saturday we were on Glenwood. Is there a way, if there's a way they can reach out, maybe they can I'm trying to figure out how we can get you in contact. Yeah, if you could inbox this YouTube page, Brianna Dukes, that'd be good. And what we'll do is we can exchange information, and one of us will reach out to your brother. You got my word on that. All right, so just reach out to us, and one of us will reach out or answer this. Just inbox us however you can. If you follow us on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, whatever. 2 o'clock. Yeah, the captain said, Shalom to Captain Yashuv. 2 o'clock next Saturday, we're gonna be at Moore Square Park, Raleigh, North Carolina, Moore Square Park. All right. So again, let's go back into this. So just keep that in mind, right? When we talk about integration and the results of integration, all praises. There's going to be a remnant of children, right? And you hear this a lot about, well, Moses came out of Egypt with the mixed multitude. And we talk about tares all through the scriptures. All right. And how do we deal with tares? And we got to be honest, man. There's tares that come out and you may give them a flyer. You may give a tare a flyer. And what is a tare? A tare that Christ was going into is someone that looks like Israel, right? They speak Spanish, but they may be Spaniard. They got dark skin, but their dad may be Esau, or their granddad may be Esau. So it's not, and one thing that we teach at YAHAWAH'S camp is Israel doesn't have to have a look. The requirement is not dark skin, woolly hair. That's not a requirement, right? It's not a requirement. Brown skin, that's not a requirement. It helps. It's an identifier, but it's not the requirement. It's not the end all be all. Israel is by the bloodline, right? So, for example, someone may look white, but they're an Israelite because their father's father's father is an Israelite. All right? So just keep that in mind, because a lot of times when you teach and someone may get the idea that you're saying all Israelites are black and only black people. How many times have we heard that? So you're saying only black people will get saved. We're not saying only black people will get saved. It's a lot of black people that are Edomites, a lot of black people that are Moabites, a lot of black people that are Hamites, okay? So it's not about that, all right? All right, so let's go back to verse 25 of Matthew 13. It says, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. A couple things we're going to deal with. Sleeping, okay? What does it mean to sleep? Okay, so you had people that were on watch that were supposed to see the enemy. When I was in the military, you had something called fire watch. The idea is that we took shifts. You know, brothers stayed up, and watch the perimeter for an enemy to come and infiltrate the camp while others slept. So while some men slept in this context, this parable, the enemy came in and sowed tares among the wheat. Now, one thing I want us to go into is what does it mean to sleep? All right, this is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 9. All right, Proverbs 6 and 9 says this. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard, when wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that traveleth, and thy want as an unarmed man. So when you sleep on the job, right? You sleep on the job, anything could happen. Anything could happen. So there's a time and a place for everything. And even to sleep, there's a time to be up, to be awake, to be alert, to be circumspect. In this time period that we're living in, we at the end of this thing, right? We right at the end of our salvation, Israel's salvation, right? And you got brothers that's literally falling asleep at the wheel. And we all had them long drives and we never really thought about it, right? When you fall asleep at the wheel, you put your life and your passengers' lives at risk. So the driver of the car has to be alert, has to be awake. And now when you go into, again, to this Matthew 13:25, you had men that were asleep at the wheel. All right, I want to get Ezekiel 37:3. Because another way you can say someone asleep is to be spiritually dead. Right? You could be spiritually dead. And I want to go into this valley of dry bones and not go into too much detail, but I want you to get the point. Ezekiel 37:3. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. Again, he said unto me, Prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God unto these bones, Behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. You see what I'm saying? So understanding what these bones represent, it's a dead, spiritually a dead person. And then the breath of life comes in and revives that person and brings them back to life, wakes them up out of their sleep. Someone says, world peace is inevitable. We're all humans living together on the same earth. Humans will continue to evolve deeper consciousness, understanding of each other and nature. 5,000 years from now, shrooms. All right, D Fountain, if that's your, if shrooms is your gospel, then, you know, you can start your own channel and have at it, my friend. But we teaching, thus saith the Lord, on this message here. All right, so just sit back and listen if you can and take notes, brother. All right, so again, to be sleep at the wheel is the understanding of being dead. Yeah, that's right, Cap. Shrooms. The brother Cap Yashu said 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, 6-8. Let's bring that out real quick. That's a good one. Let's get 1 Thessalonians. All right. Chapter 5, and we said 6-8. And it says, therefore, let us not sleep as do others. Right, that's right. Let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. And that's heavy right there, because a lot of times we can be, you could be literally sober. You don't drink liquor, but you're drunk, right? You're spiritually drunk off the wine of America, off the wine of shrooms. You're drinking off of the wine of, I don't know, Christianity, right? It says to be sober and let us not sleep. Always be awake. Always be in this day and age, looking at the prophetic events that's unfolding before your eyes. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet, the hope of salvation. And that's a beautiful precept the captain brought out, right? To let us always be awake and attentive, because you see the result when you're asleep at the wheel as a watchman, and the watchmen are always was sleeping, but we're supposed to be up. We're supposed to be watchmen. But there was a time when the watchmen were asleep. And Yahawashi says, but while men slept, verse 25, Matthew 13:25, his enemy. Now, who was the enemy of Israel? Let's get Psalms 83. Psalms 83 says this, verse 2, for lo, thine enemies, plural, right? Multiple. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. Now, one way that you can sow seed, a wicked seed or tares amongst the wheat, is by taking crafty counsel. When you take crafty counsel, you have the women believe that love is love and that she could just love who she wants to love. And now you find her and your daughter is talking about bringing home another nation. That's the crafty counsel. Crafty counsel could also be sowing a mindset of we're all one and world peace is going to come about and we're all going to hold hands as the human race. That's also a seed of wickedness amongst the people. Because if I'm a so-called Black, Latino, Native American living in America, and I've seen deportations, I've seen lynchings, I've seen reservations here in the Americas, and someone's telling me we're all going to kumbaya it, as a righteous man, I don't see the justice that the Most High should put on the people that inflicted my people. If God is a just God, then he would emphatically pay back to the people that did what they did to the children of Israel. That's if he's a just God. So the wine of Babylon, the byproduct of Babylon or Esau's mindset, could be a tear amongst us spiritually as well. The brother said Nehemiah 5:9. All right, let's bring that out. Nehemiah chapter 5, verse 9 reads this. Also I said, it is not good that ye do, ought ye not to walk in the fear of our God, because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies. That's a cut. So we're going into the understanding of who the enemies are that sowed tares among the wheats. We're talking about the other nations. Let's get this Deuteronomy 28:68. Because chiefly, mainly, the main enemy of the Most High and of the Israelite is who? The Idumean, the Edomite, right? This is Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. It's the Israelite going into bondage again by cargo slave ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there, talking about the Americas and all over the world, right? Ye shall be sold unto your enemies, plural, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So now we understand who the enemies are that crept in while the Israelite man was asleep and sowed tares. Now, if the seed, verse 24 says, sowed good seed in his field, what was sowed amongst the wheat? An evil seed. Now, if seed means sperma, then we're talking about a man or a nation of people spreading evil seed among the wheats. So let's read 25 again. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. I want people to understand when we got off those cargo slave ships in 1619, and when they brought that white man over to the Americas in 1492, there was a lot of rape and pillaging that went on amongst the people, amongst our people. And what happened is you had a baby that was born that was not an Israelite. Now, I want people to understand and ask yourself, what makes one an Israelite? Again, we established it's not by how you look. It's not by how you talk. It's not about how good you sing, how high you can jump. It's not about any of that. It's not about how corny you are or how cool you are. It's about if your fathers go back to a man named Jacob. That's it. That's it. I know a lot of so-called black men that have no rhythm. They don't have any rhythm. Does that make them not an Israelite? No. I know some guys who are white and they can dance, they can sing. That doesn't make them an Israelite. It's not about any of that. All right. It's about who you go back to. It's a lineage. And I believe the officer Shalak brought it out beautifully at our last camp this Saturday, where he told the Dominican sister, it's a bloodline. It's a bloodline. It's not how you look. All right. So again, now I want to get, first let's get the precept. Numbers 1 and 18. Numbers 1 and 18. What makes one an Israelite? This is what it reads. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees. A pedigree is a lineage, a stock or a house you go back to. So they declared their house or their pedigree after their families, by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls. Let's get the lineage of Jesus Christ, YAHAWASHI Mashiach. This is the book of Matthew 1 and 1. The book of the generations of Jesus Christ, Mashiach YAHAWASHI, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren. These are all men that qualify and quantify that YAHAWASHI goes back to the tribe of Judah based on the seed of the father. All right? So, understanding that, we must understand that an Israelite is by blood by the father. Now, let's get Matthew 13:28. Well, Salakia, 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So like we said earlier, the wheat tares, they grow up together. Now the blade being sprung up represents what? It is a parable. So everything has a parabolic meaning. The blade represents what you would say the end of the world or the end of Esau's world. The end of, we know that 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 says, for Jacob is, Esau is the beginning. Let me read it again. 6 and 9 says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the end of Esau's age or eon or time or world is going to usher in the Israelite rulership and dominance in YAHAWASHI's kingdom. All right, so the blade being sprung up is going to represent that end or that end time. The reason why we say that is because you cannot tell the wheat from the tare until YAHAWASHI reveals it. That's the whole meaning of this parable, which is why when we teach this word, they may look white, they may look black, but we ask them, what is your nationality? They may say, oh, my mom's, they may say, I'm mixed, right? Oh, I'm mixed. You mixed with what? I'm mixed with black and white. Oh, we say, okay, who who's black and who's white. And then they'll say, my father's black, my mom's white. You see what I'm saying? So we can't tell who's who by looking at you. We got a good idea, but it's all based off the spirit. Paul says in Romans 8:16, look what he says. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. The Spirit is going to bear witness that you are an Israelite or not. Okay? I've probably passed 100 flyers out to probably a TARE in my years in this truth. Probably talked to someone that might have been a TARE the whole time, but they look like they look like Israel. They look like Jake. And we get him a flyer and we talk to him and we find out the Spirit don't bear witness, then it just don't bear witness, right? All right, let's get verse 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. Verse 27. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? They're asking the man of the house. The servants is asking, did you sow good seed amongst his field? Why do we have tares among the wheat? You know why? Because that man slept. That man slept while the other nations came and infiltrated our daughters and our women and our grandmothers and our aunts and our sisters and made babies with them. That's exactly how that happens. We're not circumspect on what's going on and how to be a steward for the nation of Israel. They were doing that back then. All right. And here's what's crazy. I thought about this. The servants were going to gather both good seed and the tares together. And no, why weren't they able to? Because the nations, the Most High, let me get Deuteronomy 32 and 8. Let's get a classic. I want to get a quick classic real quick. Deuteronomy 32 and 8. And as I'm getting there, I want to make this point. Nations cannot intermingle, and there's no hegemony among the other nations. There's no melting pot in Yahawah's kingdom. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 8. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, we all come from Adam, but we all are separated by the Most High, which is why that comment earlier, when he said we're all human beings and we're living together, that's not what the Most High wants for us. He separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. All right. So Hosea 7, Captain Yashawan got Hosea chapter 7, verse 8. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. And that's a beautiful precept, because Ephraim not only mixed physically, but spiritually. Ephraim went into idolatry, right? The Ephraimite went into having his own kingdom, having his own thing. Look at Jeroboam and how Jeroboam went into having his own feast days, separating himself from the children of Israel and intermingling with the other nations. All right? It's a beautiful precept. The Most High always wanted us to be set apart from the children of Israel. I mean, as the children of Israel from the other nations. All right? So that's the reason. That's the main reason why that man was sleeping. That tare was being sprouted up and grew. All right. So this is Matthew 3 and 11. This is John the Baptist's words. I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he, YAHAWASHI, that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with fire. So it's two different baptisms, right? Verse 12, watch this. Whose fan is in his hand, and he will thoroughly purge his floor and gather. He will gather his wheat into the garner, but he will burn up the chaff with unquenchable fire. So it's not up to us to separate the wheat from the tares. It's not up to us. YAHAWASHI is the final verdict on that. I want to get another precept on that. Matthew 25:31. YAHAWASHI says this: when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory, and before him shall be gathered all nations. So all nations are going to be gathered on YAHAWASHI's return. And he, not we, he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. He shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Think about that. All nations will be gathered. So when people say, when Christ come back, everybody's lottie-dottie, everybody's together, and we're all going to sing Kumbaya, that is a lie. That's a lie. YAHAWASHI is going to gather all nations, and he's going to separate by nation the wheat from the tares. All right, so let me read verse 34, Matthew 25:34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, that's the Israelites, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. This is all by nation. All right. Matthew 13:30. No, I'm not there yet. Matthew 13:26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So they all come together. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? Meaning, why do we have these tares amongst this good seed? 28 says this: He, meaning the master, said unto them, An enemy have done this. The servants said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? So they're saying, should we go and gather everything up? 29 says, But he said, Nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. And that's heavy. A lot of times you have the mindset of, let me go ahead and get and root up all the tares, get rid of the tares. But some of them tares could be wheat. So it's twofold, right? It's two ways of looking at it. You can look at a black man and think he's an Israelite, give him a flyer and talk to him as a brother. But then you can also dismiss the white guy or the Chinese guy and not know that that white Chinese or that East Indian is an Israelite. You rooted up the wheat thinking it's a tare. But you can also destroy that brother or that sister's understanding, not thinking or not understanding, you're going off by a look. You know, we've had a couple incidences where somebody came to camp and they looked like Jake, right? Like a black man. We found out later that might be Ham. That might be Esau. That might be, you know, whoever. So, and vice versa. The person looked white. Hey, look, when you look at Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback from the Chiefs, the Cincinnati, not the Cincinnati Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, and you see his family, I mean, his kids look white, right? His son looks white. Daughter looks white. You wouldn't give him a flyer. Those are Israelites. They just look like that. So when YAHAWASHI was saying, don't do anything lest ye root up the tares amongst the wheat, right? Read that part again, because that's very important, especially for you teachers out there. But he said, Nay, Lest, verse 29, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Right? Then he says, verse 30, let both grow together. Let both wheat and tare grow together until the harvest. What is the harvest? Again, that's that blade being sprung up. The end where Yahawashi is going to put everybody in their proper place. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares. So the tares will be gathered together first, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. I want people to understand a couple things that you got to understand. Some people look dark-skinned, but they not Israel, okay? Another thing, there may be tares with fringes on. There may be tares at your Passover. There may be tares that's teaching the word. There may be tares amongst Israel for decades. They don't even know it. We're going to find out. It's not up for us to make the final call. You can speculate, but I would never tell someone, because of how you look, you can't keep the laws of God. That's just me. Because of how you look. Now, we have a rule at the camp. Depending on how you look, you can't come amongst Israel. You might not come amongst us as a camp, but you can serve the Most High at your home. You can put your fringes on at home, but you're just not invited to the cookout. Make sense? Because it could cause confusion. But I would never tell somebody that don't look like me, you, or a black man, Latino, Native American man, I would never tell them, you can't serve the Most High. Because you never know. That could be an Israelite. Remember, James says to the 12 tribes that are scattered abroad. They were scattered back then, 2,000 years ago. You do the math. The duplication, the seeds being sold. Who might be Jake? Who might not be Jake? Who may be Israel? Who might not be Israel? The migrations. I lived here, then I moved here. My dad's Colombian, but that Colombian father may be a Spaniard, right? So all these things we'll never know. That's the beauty of this truth, because it makes you rely on faith. But remember, the last part of Matthew 13:30, it says, gather ye together first the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them. I want to get Obadiah 1:18. It gives you the fate of Esau. And it has an element called fire that exterminates the house of Esau. It's Obadiah 1:18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Okay, so the northern kingdom, southern kingdom are going to have fires and flames, and Esau will be that stubble. And that's the fate of the Edomite that portrayed himself as an Israelite, being a tare. They will be burned. All right. Now let's skip over to verse 36 of Matthew 13. Okay. All right, so Christ is going to explain the meaning of the parable. Verse 36, then Yahawashi sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. All right, so remember, the disciples sometimes, they needed explanation by Christ's his metaphors and parables. Now, I want people to understand this as well. We have to think about the tares off looks. But King Herod, who was an Edomite, when King Herod portrayed himself king of the Jews, he didn't do it as, oh, I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah, accept me as your king. No, they knew he was an Edomite. Everyone knew he was, so he wasn't a terror because he wasn't trying to be an Israelite. He wasn't masquerading as an Israelite on incognito mode. Some of these guys like King Herod, Drusilla, some of these kings of the Jews in that time period, they were Edomites, bona fide Edomites, Idumeans, right? But they just happened to have that governance of Israel. That's why he was calling himself King of the Jews. It wasn't to say, I'm a black man. No. That's not how it was, right? These guys were other nations. They knew they were other nations, but they were calling themselves King of those Jews or governors of Israel. Okay? A terror is someone who looks like an Israelite. You may mistake him as an Israelite, and he's really another nation. That's what a terror is. So we've established how you establish an Israelite. By who? The seed of the Father. All right, so now let's go into this explanation, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Ezekiel, Matthew 13 and 36. Then Yahawashi sent the multitude away and went into the house. And his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. 37. He answered and said unto them, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. So he that sows the good seed is the Son of Man. Now, I know some brothers will precept that with Isaiah 53 and 10 to establish that Yahawashi is Isaac. I've heard that before. It's always about race, shaking my head. This book is about race. Night Owl X7, right? This book is a lineage and history of the Israelites. That's right. Why not? Every nation has a love for their race. But when the Negro, Latino, and Native American show information that talks about our race, someone has to poo-poo on that, right? And that's okay, and that's fine. But this word is for the Israelites, and we're gonna teach this word for a nationalistic standpoint. He said it's always about race. Not always, but when this book is opened up, we see a race and lineage all through these books and chapters. So Ezekiel, I keep saying Ezekiel, Matthew 13:37 says this, He that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. So Yahawashi sowed the good seed as the Son of Man, right? Meaning he created us. He created Israel. He's the author of our existence, right? 38 says, the field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. It never said anything as the tares being some spiritual religion. The tares isn't me being in sin as an alcoholic or a whoremonger or one of lust or killing or murder. It says the children, right? The children of the wicked one. This is Isaiah 6 and 13. Let me get this real quick. Isaiah chapter 6, 13. But yet, in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten as a teal tree, and as an oak, whose substance is in them. When they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. Isaiah is telling you the holy seed is the Israelites, because Isaiah prophesied to the children or the race of Israel. So the holy seed is the Israelites. Okay? Hold on one second. Let me get my notes real quick. All right, so we understand that the holy seed is who? Israel. The tares would be the children of the wicked seed, the other nations, and the children that follow them. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom. Who is the kingdom promised for? Israel. Romans 9 will tell you that Israel inherits all that. So salvation is for the Israelite. Okay? The seed is the righteous good seed is the Israelite. The wicked seed is who? The other nations. But chiefly the Edomite, the Idumean. All praise to the Most High. I'm going to finish this up, the last couple verses. 39. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Let's get Revelation 14 real quick. I want to get Revelation 14:14. I want to show our audience what it looks like when this happens. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be the end of this world. And that's how Esau's world is going to end, by fire. By utter destruction, fire. This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like the son, like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. If you understand what a sickle does, it gathers and it reaps in abundance wheat and tares. That's the idea of the sickle. If you know what a Grim Reaper is, he has the sickle. He's in all black with the hood on. He has the sickle. It's like a curved shaped object. And what you do is you reap in a massive amount of wheat and weeds and things like that, right? So Yahawashi is coming in, and the revelation that this talks about right here is him coming in on a crown, meaning his rulership, his dominion. And he's going to have a sharp sickle to do what? To reap. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the crowd. So another angel came and cried to Yahawashi the king. And he says, thrust in thy sickle and reap. For the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Now, if we know the precepts, Christ comes to reap who? The righteous Israelites. He's not coming to reap everybody. He's going to reap or gather or collect the righteous Israelites. Verse 17, and another angel came out of the temple. So now you got a second angel coming out of the temple, which is in heaven. He also having a sharp sickle. So the other angel has his own sickle. And the sickle is made to do what? To reap. 18. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. So this angel is reaping in the vine of the earth. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the earth of God. And the winepress was trodden down without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the house, the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Now you understand that the second angel went and gathered in the vine of the earth, which represents the other nations that were supposed to be destroyed. You can read that in Jeremiah 3 and 13, Isaiah 63, 1 through 6, and Jeremiah 12. Okay, so you're going to have a separate angel gather in the vine of the earth to be destroyed, and Yahawashi is going to gather in the righteous remnant of Israel. Okay? So let's go right back to Matthew 13. And now I want to get verse 40. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. So these angels are going to go by and they're going to select by what? By works. If you were righteous or if you were wicked. And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the kingdom shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who have ears to hear, let him hear. All right, so real quick, in summary, you have a couple things in play here. You have the kingdom of heaven. You have those who watch for the children of Israel, whether they were fit for the kingdom or not. These watchmen fell asleep. And while they fell asleep by the doctrine, the understanding, the friendships of the other nations, that allowed time, that allowed an opportunity for the other nations to then sow tares amongst the Israelites while the Israelites were asleep. It's going to take Yahawashi to come back to separate these wheats that grew up over time amongst the tares. For example, someone like a Bob Marley, Frederick Douglass, sister Tia and Tamara, the Marley brothers, the children of the Marley brothers. I mean, you can go on and on. What's the Tracy Ellis Ross? All of these, they look like us, right? And what's crazy about the Bob Marley situation or example, Bob Marley has grandkids that are darker than me, and those are Edomites. As a matter of fact, I believe Bob Marley was Amalek. His father was a Jew. So even when you break it down from that understanding, Bob Marley's children and his children's children are dark, melanated people, but they're dark-skinned Edomites. And that's what's scary, because like we said earlier, anybody could be Israel, but Israel could be anybody. Okay? And remember, it said an enemy had done this atrocity. The enemy was the one that sowed tares among the wheats. And remember, I want y'all to go back and research the darnel, right? I don't know if you came in late. Wheat, again, provides nutrients, fiber, protein, vitamins, iron, magnesium, antioxidants. They help you live. The tare, also known as darnel, Ilolium temulentum, also known as poison darnel, which is a weed, Vavilovian, right, which is a mimic of wheat. That's funny how they use the word mimic, because that tare mimics the wheat. That white man mimics the black man. That Chinese man mimics the black man. That Korean mimics the black man, right? And it's a weed. The idea of a weed is to take all the nutrients out of the plant. It kills the plant. It's a killer. That weed is a killer. Think about that. And we had no way of telling the wheat from the tares until that fruit was made to manifest. That's how we did that. Now it's going to take YAHAWASHI to showcase and to unveil the wheat from the tare. All right? But look up that that false wheat. That was interesting, at least to me, and how the ingesting of those wheats caused nausea, vomiting, drunkenness, and death. They can be fatal. All right. Yep, that's right, K-Flow. Lauren Hill's children. Hey, Shalom. Hey, the water cat. Hey, all praise to the Most High. And hopefully this was edifying. Like I said, we wasn't going to be too long through the spirit of YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWASHI. Again, study this word, all right, to show yourself approved. Again, hope to see y'all at Passover 2025. It's going to be in Nightdale, April 13th. Reach out to the brothers on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. If you can't find it, we'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction. All right, that's all I got, Israel. With that, I'm the Captain Ra'am. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh. Ba'Shem HaMashiach Yahawashi. With that, I say Shalom.